Right, let me put the link into...
Okay then, welcome everyone. We are at the Bahrain Grand Prix for CWR Season 3 in Tier 1. By the name you can tell that we have a new tier system implemented to this league, and this is the better tier that we're gonna be racing in. You're gonna see some few familiar faces, some will not be, so we have a lot of surprises for you during the new season. Season calendar has been shortened a little bit, so we are starting at Bahrain and we're gonna have 12 races from there. I think the next one will be Britain, Hungary, and then Spain, Belgium, Austria, and then we're gonna be finishing off the season in Brazil, so at least some sort of chronological order in the calendar will be kept in place. But yeah, the most important thing will be that we have a new tier system, better driving, let's hope. New teams, new everything, new start for the whole league. And I'm sure we're gonna have a good time, at least for the next 12 races. Sitting next to me, virtually, is TM Ducky, the new co-commentator who decided to finally show up compared to the previous ones. Say hi.
Hi guys.
So we're gonna be starting quali. We've already passed 3 minutes of it. No really fresh laps to look at. We're gonna have 17 drivers on the grid, so not a full one, but at least much better than previous seasons. As far as the team combinations go, really the big favorites to look at will be Preston and Rythims in the Williams. A big chance for the constructors, but there are also a lot of new faces that we haven't seen, so the constructors fight is still really up for grabs. But yeah, what's gonna be your pick?
Well, I'll have to see. I think Williams are looking quite strong this season with Season 1 champion Preston, and also with Rythims, who we know is very quick from previous seasons. So I think they've got a pretty good shout at getting the title here, maybe even the drivers as well.
Yeah, also Season 2 champion Jado is gonna be in the Racing Point with Nova Apollo. That looks like a scary lineup as well. We haven't seen the runner-up from Season 1 Smilets Kyle in Season 2. He's gonna be in the Alfa Romeo with Colpo Grosso. So that's also gonna be an interesting lineup to look at. Colpo is also a person that drives on the pad, so some tracks may favor him and some may not. He's gonna have a advantage/disadvantage in certain tracks. As far as the first part of qualifying, we already had 8 times, so very active. Leading the way is gonna be Rythims in the Williams, speak of the devil, with a 125.2, and behind him is gonna be Alonso, 4 tenths behind him. So the difference at the top is quite large, but we haven't seen everyone's times. Of course, Matmar and Trigger and Bemby, all of these guys probably just did their bank collapse. As far as tires go, Trigger was the only person to start the qualifying on mediums, and then he retired from the session for some reason. I don't know what happened there. Also, he's supposed to be driving in Season 2, so I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah, it seems to me that a Ferrari and an Alfa Romeo have already retired from the qualifying position. Lewis, 05, in Ferrari, not even being able to get a lap in, as he was, I noticed quite earlier on, he was just towards the end of Sector 3, just before the start-finish straight, he was pulled off to one side and out of the session, which is interesting.
Yeah, connection problems never seem to stop with any league that you go to. Meanwhile, Preston managed to get up into P2, but just 0.02 of a second behind Wright-Mims, so the Williams dominance may well continue. Last season we had very big expectations for the Williamses, as that it was Preston and Felix, but Felix then left after having a lot of bad races and a low attendance. So yeah, instead of him in the Williams seat, it's going to be Wright-Mims, who seems to have good pace so far, but qualifying isn't everything. Carnage is everywhere. And thanks to Carnage being everywhere, that caused our favorite person of the whole league, the Norwegian boy, to be in Tier 2. So a lot of people will be feeling a sigh of relief in Tier 1 at least. And that also cuts down the interview time to half, because we're not going to be talking about the Norwegian boy anymore. So F in the chat, please.
Yeah, and we should be looking at, hopefully, some more cleaner races, as these are the top guys in the league, chosen to be in Tier 1 as opposed to Tier 2. Not that there's any difference in abilities, it's just these guys appear to be quicker, and we're just trying to balance things out and make sure everyone can have good races. So hopefully we can get some clean racing in, and it should be good to see how it shapes out here in round 1.
Yeah, we're still gonna be waiting for Crimo, who is a very big favorite actually. He's had a very good pace in last race in Azerbaijan. Obviously that race was filled with controversy and a lot of shit show potential. But yeah, he's shown some good pace, so we're still gonna be waiting for a lap from him, as also it goes for other 5 people in the lobby. We've already passed halfway through qualifying almost. And yeah, big favorite Matmar also very far off the pace, almost like 6/10 off pole. And it seems like nobody is risking their qualifying runs for the sake of starting on the mediums, so I'm guessing everyone will be trying the 2-stop if something other unfortunate won't happen, of course. But I don't know what strategy is best for a situation like this.
Seems we've had another retirement from qualifying. It's Manu. He was out on an outlap, and it seems the deadly curb coming into the final sector has got him, as he's crashed out just during the final sector, and put a lap in. So it is looking as though it's Manu and Lewis on the last row of the grid, as they've retired from the session without being able to get any laps in at all.
Jeez. Let's hope this kind of carnage doesn't occur during the race, as that curb really ends some races. Yeah, let's just hope we're gonna have a clean start, because around Bahrain especially, that's not usually the case in this league.
Yeah, turn 1 can be a tricky corner. It's a heavy braking zone and quite a tight apex, so we have a lot of people maybe trying to go 3 wide through there, and that can end in tears.
Yeah, right now we're looking at a Wright-Mims' new lap. He was 2/10 up in the first sector, so it looks very promising to draw a bigger gap between him and Preston. Finally, some kind of challenge will be going over to Preston's hands. But anything can happen in the race. We have 29 laps ahead of us. And after having 5 safety cars inside of 14 laps in Azerbaijan during last season, I'm not really sure if we're going to be looking at a safety car free race, especially since it's Bahrain. So he's gonna come around the final corner and claim a 124.9, so a very good lap from him. Improvement by 3/10 and beats the 125 mark.
Yeah, the first driver getting into the 124s there, and we should expect a lot others to follow, especially Preston and Jato when they get out on track. I think Jato is on track now. It's only Cremo who's still in the pits without actually setting a lap time yet, so he's really putting all his cards down onto maybe one or two laps. But yeah, it's an interesting strategy.
So is Jato, because his lap seems to be invalidated.
Yeah, I was watching Matmar through the final lap, and he was looking okay through Sector 1, but coming into Sector 2 in the left-hander into the tighter hairpin-like corner onto the back straight, he just completely went over the apex and I think bailed out on his lap. But I think he's running again here, so we'll watch on board with him.
Yeah, the important thing to mention is that, you know, these retirements during qualifying are going to cost so much more, especially in this season, because you only have 12 races. It's not a full 21 race, 22 race season where anything can happen to you and you can still easily recover. Everything is going to count more. And so that could not only hurt your, but also the Constructors' Championships. For example, Matmar's teammate Lewis, both of them seem to be very quick, but if things like this keep happening, I don't think they're going to be thinking about going for the Constructors anytime soon.
Well, it's a possibility, and it is only round 1, but things like this can happen. As Mark comes across the line to get P5, he's still around 6/10 off of the pole time, but it's looking better for him. He's getting into his groove now.
Yeah, the rest of the grid will be probably staying in the pit lane until the last stages of the qualifying session. Well, them and Jado is going to be the only person on track after a while, because he's still waiting to get a first lap in. Never mind, he's back in the pits, so he's really gonna be counting on the one lap. And if he screws that up, that's not gonna be a good start to your new season in this league.
No, definitely not. We've got Cremo here out on his first lap. He'll be looking to get 2 laps. He's on the medium tyre, interestingly, but he's gone purple sector 1, but I don't know how realistic that is, as this game can be quite difficult sometimes in telling you what's actually going on. But it's interesting because he's on the medium tyre, coming out with 4 minutes left on the clock. 4.5 minutes left, sorry. So really interesting strategy. Maybe he's trying to start on the medium tyre and get the ultimate strategy.
Yeah, so the whole grid in the pit lane. Only 4 minutes left, so not much people are gonna be looking to get 2 laps in, maybe just counting on the 1 lap they can do. Still 4 people without a time, 2 people retired, another 2, let's just hope that they don't have some sort of a connection issue, so that could really hurt in the race. But as...
Cremo.
Yeah.
Sorry. Cremo's put a lap in now. He's got a 126.9 on the mediums. It's enough for 11th, but he'll be wanting to get a soft tyre run in, I believe.
Nova Apollo gets his lap invalidated yet again, so he's not going to be moving up places anytime soon. Is it worth it to go into the mediums and score a less than ideal time for the sake of a better strategy during the race?
Well, I'd say if you want to start on the mediums, you'd want to try and get into the top 10. If you think you're quick enough, then you can try and get into the top 10 on the mediums. But if you're going to be outside the top 11, then you know it's regardless, you'd be starting on the mediums. And you get a free choice of tyre, and a fresher one at that. So I'd say, really, with this circuit, you never know what can happen, but I'd say probably a soft run and try and get it high up as possible will give you the best chance in the race.
And that's why probably the whole grid has the same opinion here. But Crimo is improving, at least according to the second sector split, so the time will be better by 4/10 actually, but it's not enough to put him anywhere further up the grid. So it's going to be the same dominance that we're used to around this league with Rhythms and Preston at the top, and we're still going to be waiting for Chado's time, so if he's going to be in the top 3, that's going to be a no surprise there. And it appears you disconnected from the lobby.
I did. It said it didn't exist anymore for some reason. It does this sometimes.
Okay, so I can invite you back in. So I'm going to be inviting you in. There
So
we go.
it decides to tell me it doesn't exist sometimes. I don't know why.
Well, the whole grid is going to be on their out laps finally. Some action will be happening, as well as Jado. He's really taking his time in showing us what kind of pace he's got at the moment. The only person to break the 125s is still Rhythms until the end of the session. So we're going to be waiting if somebody else manages to do that. As far as tires go, only Crimo and CJ went on the mediums, but it really doesn't matter that far down the grid. So we have a minute left, and we're gonna be waiting on a lot of laps. Probably not a lot of people gonna go for 2 laps, just the 1. Matmar actually, sorry about that, but Matmar just did a purple second sector with 2/10 up on the personal best, so this looks like a very promising lap on those softs. But he's losing about like 6/10 on his best lap, so this really needs to be good if he wants to get further up the grid, and he does. Just by 2 places, but it's a very good lap nonetheless.
It's a good lap. It's more characteristic of him to be getting these kind of laps in. Top 3 is sort of where he want to be aiming. He wants to be around the Williams and really pushing them. But we'll have to see how everyone else can do. Because right now it's the Williams that are 1-2 so far.
It looks to stay that way if Jado really doesn't put the pressure on them. He's finally starting his only lap of the session. Really doesn't pay dividends if you're scrolling through your Instagram the whole time you're in the pits. Means that right now you're gonna be under a lot of pressure. That was a Mercedes of Alonso in the back there that was spinning a lot, so the last lap will be very problematic for him. But yeah, Matmar retired in celebration of his wonderful time. But the first out of the favorites to cross the line is going to be Preston, who seems to be up on his personal best, but not by much, so very well the pole position could be in jeopardy. And look at that, McLaren getting in the way there. That's not what you want, but never mind, he actually does it. Look at that. By 300ths of a second, he beats Rhythm's time at the death, and Rhythms has his lap invalidated. So he's done, he's gonna be in second place. The only person who can do something about this is going to be Jado. And he didn't really set purple lap times, so this looks like a Preston pole position yet again. Jado only sets a 125.8, which is good enough for P8. So my oh my, Preston at the very depth of the qualifying session is going to get pole. Wow.
Only by a couple hundredths of a second as well. And very close between the two Williams. I can really see a championship fight, sort of respective of the Mercedes fight back in 2014. Could be looking at a good season here, but a couple of people out of place. Jato and Crimo not doing as well as they should have. But it's an interesting looking grid, and it should produce some really good racing here. So
Yeah,
You have the race to look forward to.
looking at the tournament lineups posted before the season started, we have a lot of replacements. So I don't know if that's one-off appearance from Trigger or Anu or anyone else really. But let's hope that it doesn't screw up the dynamic that we're looking at here.
Yeah, well, we're going to be looking at quite an interesting drivers fight, I do believe, but the constructors is looking a little questionable with Williams being the strongest showing so far, getting a 1-2 on their first race, and every other team is sort of scrambling for positions afterwards, and a lot of them are really sort of quite harmed here, I think.
Yeah, we're looking at 12 weeks of back-to-back racing, so I don't imagine that neither the favorites are going to attend everything and going to be good at everything, so there's obviously room for a fight everywhere.
Yeah, for sure. We're hoping to see one. Um, Spice things up a little here in season three, and it should be a good season, and hopefully it will produce a lot of really good racing and entertaining battles.
And the calendar is finally set up in a better order, so the championship finale will not be the best trio of tracks you can possibly choose for a championship finale in Russia, Hungary, and Singapore. This time we're going to be finishing things up with Mexico and Brazil. So finally something good brewing up there. Let's hope that it won't be ruined by a dominance slash connection issues slash everything.
Yeah, we're hoping for a clean, fair fight that will take us all the way to the final round, and hopefully it's entertaining and edge of the seat stuff all the way. We don't want to see someone dominating. We want to see lots of people getting involved in a very sort of season where you don't know what's going to happen next.
Yeah, obviously, as many new voices in the interview room as possible, that would be great.
Yeah, we want a 2012 like season with as many different race winners as we can have.
Yeah,
It'd be
definitely
good to
not
see.
starting like a 2012 season because we don't have 6 world champions on the grid. We only have 2 champions, and one of them is very questionable, as the season only took 5 races, and we have recordings of 4 of them.
Yeah,
But
well,
yeah,
this season,
we're still waiting for like some connection issues. I don't know what's going on here. The
yeah,
fault is not
it's
in my screen, but it doesn't look like everyone is really loading the way they should.
yeah.
There's talk in the chat that they want to restart the thing.
Restart the lobby. It might be a lobby glitch here. It does seem that
Yeah,
way.
this league never
Everyone's loading in.
disappoints in connection drama and
Well,
glitches
it
and stuff.
says for me that everyone's still loading and no one's ticked up, but
Well,
way to get season one underway.
alright, migrating hosts, so this
I
looks like a
believe.
mass just... Yeah, I think... Yeah, let's just leave the lobby. I don't know if we keep the
Yeah,
stream running. I
everyone's
think
leaving
we
now.
can.
Yeah, you should be able to keep the stream running as long as you don't exit the game. Um,
Yeah, actually,
so
I would
restart
love
the
to
lobby.
have this kind of drama instead of the 5 safety cars glitch last time out. That was really painful to watch.
Oh, that was. You couldn't get any racing done. All you could do was sit back and enjoy watching the cars
Go
roll around
round.
behind the safety cars, and round and round and round, and it's
Yeah, it was very fun.
not exciting at all. Not exciting at all.
It appears I don't have the invite still.
It'll take them a minute to get the lobby back up. Just gonna get the tire compounds that were used in qualifying, just
Yeah,
to
I
make
think
sure
they said
people
in the
stick to
chat
them.
that they should start on the same compound?
Yes, they should start the same compound, or it's a disqualification from the race. And just gonna try and find the compounds people used here. Most should be on softs. I think it was only Primo really that qualified on the medium tyre. We'll find out here. This is always how it's going to go, isn't it? Though.
Probably.
The game has been very glitchy as of late. Okay, there we go.
It's better off we get these things out of the way at the beginning of the season rather than at the end.
Yeah, there's no telling how the game will treat you. It's really a roulette as to whether or not you get through clean or not. So, put everyone on edge a little bit. It'll elongate those nerves before the race, and hopefully it shouldn't cause any incidents. But well, Bahrain, I mean, with the.
All right. I got an invite. Alright, so take two. I hope I don't have to name the stream Take Two yet again.
I'm missing two people. But that should be rectified pretty soon. And we can get into the race as quickly as possible. But this sort of thing is exactly what the drivers don't need, as we are.
Yeah, that could really play with your mindset.
You get into a mindset and you get into the zone just before the race starts, and then you have an issue like this, which elongates that sort of that feeling, and that can be quite detrimental to many of the drivers here who want to get this underway and do the best they can. It's always those lap one nerves that you want to get out of the way as soon as possible, and then you can settle down into a bit of a groove.
I think I'm gonna take a really quick break while the race loads up.
Alrighty. Alright, countdown's begun. I think we should be getting underway here shortly. Because everyone's back in again, and just some settings being changed. Okay. We should be getting underway soon here. Yeah, here we go. As soon as enough drivers have readied up, we will be getting underway. And here we go then. Countdown's begun, and drivers should be. Oh, Cremo dropped out, I think, for a second there. We better select his team really quickly before the session starts. Yeah, okay, he's in the Renault. Good. Right, so they should stick to the the compound they got. Actually, with Cremo dropping out here and having to rejoin back in real quick, that could cause him to drop down the order and start last because it messes up the set grid. As the grid had to be reset by Preston. Let's. The mighty duckies on commentary. Here I am. I haven't done this for a while, so it should be interesting to see how it goes. And it should be interesting to see how Tier 1 goes. Ugh. Some very quick guys in here.
Yeah, I'm putting a lot of faith in you. And the whole league as well.
Yeah, well, hopefully the Codemasters can not give us any more bugs. Hopefully that's the bug for the day out of the way, and we can get on with racing and have a good one.
Yeah, people were more interested apparently in looking at the loading screen than at the qualifying. We have 6 times more people watching the stream than at the qualifying. I don't know what was going on.
You know, people with bugs.
Yeah, thankfully we are at the grid and we're loading and we're gonna go onto the formation lap finally. Jeez. Okay. So just a quick reminder, expect the scoreboard to glitch out at the start, as we are very much used to it being very, very weird, so just rely on what you are seeing at the track. So here's the first example. Matmar is not leading. The Williamses took each other out in the formation lap.
You love to see it.
As far as tires go, it looks like Bemby, Turbo Games, CJ, Trigger, Lewis and Crimo are all starting on a different compound of tire. This time it's going to be mediums and hards. What's the strategy like if you're starting on hards?
If you're starting on hards, should be, whether you're starting on hards or mediums, it should be a one-stop. You know, from the medium tire to the hard tire, and then from the hard tire to the medium tire. Those on the softs, it should be a two-stop. Either soft, medium, softs, or soft, medium. Depending on how the race, we could have a safety car that could elongate that to a one-stop. But it does appear nobody can make it round the formation lap without having some sort of an accident, as we've had almost half the grid sent back to their places.
Yeah, you know, safety car and twist up the grid, but what about the weather forecast? That can also screw up a lot of strategies here. So we're also going to be waiting for that. Obviously, we are in the middle of the desert, so I don't find it very likely. But, you know, Burning Ecclestone once wanted to add sprinklers to some tracks to artificially wet the track off. Maybe some hidden feature will allow us to do that here.
Maybe the race should be dry throughout with a 0% chance of rain.
Oh yeah, that's actually, sorry, but like it's a very good point. Why is Crimo in last place when he qualified 12th? I have no idea. Probably the scoreboard glitching yet again, but it looks like even on the track he's like this.
He
All
dropped
right,
out. He dropped out of the after the grid was set up. He dropped out and had to rejoin, which
oh,
puts you to the back, unfortunately. So
right.
he's really
Never
been
mind.
there.
Never mind. We're gonna finally start the race with both Williamses at the front, 4, 5 lights, and away we go for the start of the season 3 of CWR here in Bahrain. Looks like a good getaway for Rhythms as well. There's a collision between the Haas and Crimal right at the back, so it looks like the two Williamses are going to go side by side, thankfully without collision. And Preston is going to retain P1, but just for the moment during the straight, look at that. Matmar is going to be overtaking the both of them during the second DRS straight. Obviously without DRS, the two Williams is still side by side scrambling for the lead. Matmar silently just waiting for an opportunity to get past them, but it looks like Preston is going to regain P1 for now. And it looks like the McLaren of Jordi wanted to have a look around the outside of Matmar, but it didn't really work out. And so the top three is going to stay the same. Alonso lost a position at the start there. And apart from that, that's a whole lot of scrambling going on at the back of the grid. Crimal gained 4 positions. Lewis dropped down to last.
Yeah, there's been a
And
lot of.
Bambi also lost a lot of positions. And that was... what was that collision at the start between the Haas of... I don't even know if that was Turbo Games or CJ. Oh, we have a yellow flag. That's a retirement if I ever seen one. Which... let's just have a
That's
quick look at
Primo.
that. Cremo and Turbo Games collided, so the houses have been very destructive lately.
Yeah, there's been a lot of looking back. It looked as if at the start there, the Haas came across the front of one of the Ferraris, and then the other Haas and the two Racing Points got a bit argy-bargy. A lot of carbon fibre being sent all over the place. You've got both Haases and Nova in the pit lane there, getting repairs, and Cremo, unfortunately, is right down the back after having that collision with Turbo.
Yeah,
An
that
eventful start for
forces
sure.
Nova Polo is going to be in the pits, as well as both houses were going to be double stacking, so basically race over for them. That's not what you want. It looks like Matmar is falling away from both the Williamses. Look at that, he's under attack from the McLaren of Jordi, not quite making the move into the double left-hander. But the move will come slowly but surely. So Matmar is going to be leading the train. He doesn't have any damage, or does he? I'm not sure. He doesn't have damage, so it's maybe just the pace advantage that he has. Turbo Games has a penalty of some sort for some reason, but it looks like Preston is doing a Sebastian... No, actually that's Rhythms. Did we miss something? Oh, okay, so apparently Rhythms is in the lead and he's pulling away 2013 Sebastian Vettel style.
Missed that completely. When did he get past?
Okay, so...
What is
I'm sorry,
glitched?
I think we
Something.
missed a move that the Williamses made on each other, and that forced Preston into second. It's gonna be falling into the clutches of the whole train that's still kept together and wasn't torn apart by carnage. Both the Haas very destructive at the start. Not what you want. Nova
No,
Apollo is going to
Rhythms.
be feeling the consequences of that, because he's going to be stuck in front of CJ for a while now.
Rhythms has had an amazing getaway here. He's in the best position he can be. He's bridging a gap from Preston. It was 1.6 coming across the line. It's around 1.8 seconds now, as Preston is coming under a lot of scrutiny and pressure from behind from the likes of Matmar and Geordie, but it's an amazing gap that Rhythms has been able to get, and it is continuing to extend. So this is really interesting here.
Yeah, we're already on lap 3, and the combat from P2 onwards is gonna be non-stop basically. We have the DRS finally turned on, so this start-finish straight is going to be the start of a big-ass storm, big-ass chaos. Thankfully Rhythms is going to be rewarded for his good pace and not having to deal with that if he doesn't do an individual mistake of some sort, but let's have a look at that. Matmar is attacking Preston. The only person in the train without the DRS gonna go into the inside. A little bit of overshooting in the corner doesn't let Preston to do the switchback, and he loses a position there. And we're seeing someone in the wall. That's gonna be Nova Apollo in another fight. This time it's Trigger, but it looks like he was forced wide because of something CJ did.
I think he might have hooked the inside tire there on the curb.
Yeah, yet again, that happens a lot of times. So Matmar is going to be the next person at the front of the train trying to break out of the DRS window. That's probably the worst place you want to be at the start of a race like this. You're gonna be under a lot of pressure. Look at that, Preston is going to be under pressure from Jordy. Doesn't work out though, the straight doesn't really allow you to do some bold overtakes like that, but he definitely does get closer, and he's only 1/10 away from him, just basically dragging him through some of these corners, really showing the frustration that he has. And Anu, another victim of the wrath of the Spinala curb. A lot of damage, so he's gonna be falling out of the big train. We only have 6 people left who aren't scattered all around the circuit.
Matmar does appear to be sort of edging a gap as Preston.
Oh, look at that! Look at that! Preston under another attack. This time it's Jordy. Same move Matmar did last lap. Jordy did it again, but this time Preston is holding him back, and it's a side-by-side battle throughout the second DRS zone. Preston has the inside this time. Jordy gonna attempt the switchback. Preston is forced a little bit wide there, and they continue side by side. Look at that, through the twisty section at the beginning of Sector 2, and Jordy gets the move done in the end, but Preston is not backing out. He's still on the outside of Jordy and really close to him, so maybe in this double left-hander he can do the job and get the position back, but it doesn't look like it's gonna be happening. So Preston falling down the grid more and more so. An interesting comeback also from Jado, who got to P6, and I don't even know where he started. I guess we can check that. He started P8, so really nice in avoiding all the carnage that has been ensuing throughout the start of the race.
It's been, yeah, I think there was a very impressive battle from along the first sector there between Jordy and Preston. Very clean, showing a lot of respect, which is what you want to see. Preston dropping down the order a bit. He's suffered a lot this race, which is strange, and he's used up a lot of his ERS as well, which is interesting to see.
Yeah, that's what you want. Finally some drama from all the times that we saw Preston dominate. Well, this time it's going to be someone else dominating, but you know, it's like this time Hamilton retired, so Bottas is leading the race now. Wrightham's still leading with a nice gap, and we see another person in the wall this time. Yet again.
The inside curb.
So the back markers IRL, also back markers here, as the Alfa Romeos and Haas is really struggling to find their foot in this race. We're only through lap 6, and a train for some higher positions is still intact. So an example of good racing at least, as Matmar is going to still be the first person in the big train of the DRS big guys. And he's gonna be under a lot of pressure from Jordy. He's had a very good start so far. He got up 3 positions and looks to get up for 1 more, which is very close to him. Wrightham still extending the gap to almost more than 3 seconds now. Also the back markers. Oh, look at that. Matmar going into the pit lane, so an early call into the pit stop. Mudu is going to follow suit. He's going to go onto the medium, so definitely not a one-stop attempt from Matmar. So he's going to be attempting to undercut the whole field.
It's a good strategy there. He made a mistake coming into that final corner, went very deep and off track, which gave Jordy a very good run to go for the overtake, but he decided he was going to go and pit instead rather than losing a lot more time than he would have battling with Jordy. Which is a good strategy. I think the undercut could be quite powerful here.
Yeah, especially if you're in a situation like that, you're in the hot seat, you're under a lot of pressure, you're not gaining any time, you're just holding on for dear life until something new arrives, so good decision to back out while it was still possible.
Yeah, I think he's hoping that Preston and Geordie will battle here and lose themselves some time. So maybe he can gain some, but we'll have to wait and see. I don't know whether they'll be picking this lap.
Oh, look at that. Is that Jato, another victim of the dangerous curb? Oh, he wasn't even there, so...
He wasn't there, he was before, so it might have been contact between him and Alonso there.
Let's hope we didn't curse him by praising him earlier. And another yellow flag, this time it's another Anu kind of mistake. He's really struggling this race. So yeah, Geordie is the next one to go into the pit lane. Let's hope he did a good in-lap. Otherwise, Matmar will rejoin in front of him, probably with a good gap.
Watch Matmar here. I think that's Jato. He's made another mistake. He's spun coming out the final corner.
Oh, really?
He's lost another position. He's down to P8 now. And Matmar is using him as a slipstream train. Geordie just coming out the pit lane. It's going to be close between the three of them here.
And actually, Matmar loses the position, so the undercut didn't work. And Jato is tangled into this combat. Obviously, he's a pit stop down, so he's not going to be a bother anymore, but it really didn't help when Jato was kind of blocking Matmar. Obviously, he couldn't do much about it, but it was very unfortunate for Matmar, so the undercut didn't work. Geordie gets a free position just out of the pit stops. We have yellow flags left, right, and center.
Oh, Jato's round!
Jato is round. Oh my.
Big snap coming out of that coming to that corner. He just completely lost it on the curb.
We're definitely going to be seeing a new face in the interview room, as Jato doesn't look like he's going to get back into the podium if a safety car doesn't come, of course. It's down to P10 now. Going to be waiting for other people to make their stops. So far, the whole grid is really scattered around the whole thing.
Oh, Christ, he's struggling a lot on that soft tyre. He had another snap of oversteer here.
Yeah, right. Is going to go into the pits, and he's going on the hards. So he's trying to do the bring this home strategy, and just sit in the front of the pack and just wait out the race until the end. This could benefit and hurt him.
Well, he's had the better pace this entire race. He's made no mistakes, as that's Jato round again, and he's into the wall this time. Light damage, I believe, but his tyres are completely shot. He has to get off of those tyres. The wear and the temperature is too high as he comes into the pits there. He's struggled so much since he had that incident, and he's retired actually from the session. He's out.
Both Racing Points have retired, so not a good start to the season.
Not a good start. No,
it's a very promising lineup, though. Nova Apollo first appeared in the special event in Monza during the pre-season, and he's fought his way through as a reserve initially, and then with some good results. At the start of the season, I think he picked up a second place or fourth or something like that in Brazil, where he started like 13th. So he's definitely a good player, and Jato also a champion.
Skills Virus, sorry to cut in there, is it was stopped on track on the exit there of middle of sector 2, and I don't know what happened there, but he was just stopped on track. And
yeah, the last person to enter the pit lane are gonna be Preston and Alonso. Let's see what tire will be Preston going on. Also, it's Manu is going to continue without a stop. But other than that, Rhythms is already in the pit lane. He's definitely gonna pass Preston here by a mile, actually. So Rhythms just needs to wait this one out and pray that a safety car isn't going to ruin his race.
Yeah, I think Rhythms is in the best possible position he can be. He's come out the pits miles ahead of Preston, and Geordie as well. Geordie just behind. He could chase him down here if he's got the faster
he
tire.
Really needs to. He really needs to, because he's on the mediums. If he doesn't chase him down, his race chances are really, really, really slim.
So Jordy's got a lot of pressure now. He's got to try and catch up with Writings and get ahead here. And he's also got the two Ferraris of Lewis and Matt on his back. Lewis on the hard tyre there, so he'll be running deep into the race, and he's going for the one stop. As
oh yeah,
Jordy...
Lewis started on the hards, and they're doing a typical Ferrari team orders. Yeah, it looks like it. So Lewis is going to be letting Matmar through, as he is on a different strategy. Yeah, so both racing points out. A champion from the last season and a very promising talent rising. Seems like a good lineup on paper, but you know, the unfortunate results probably kick in at some point. Maybe good to get them out at the beginning of the season. But yeah, Ismano is the last person to finally get into the pits. So we're on lap 11 now. A third.
He's had a good first stint. He's gone on a hard tyre to try and go to the end of the race here, but he's had a brilliant first stint. He made it 15 positions, of course, for staying out as long as he could on that soft compound tyre, but he's going to be on the hard tyre towards the end, so he could pick up a couple positions from those doing the two-stop. But he's in the points, and he's managed to get himself in the points from 16th place. A very good race from him here. And Cremo has recovered quite well as well.
That's another spin from an Alfa Romeo. They're really bad race for them, though. Yeah, it's Manu probably got a little bit lucky with missing out on all the carnage that happened at the start. Yeah, something to be happy about. But it looks like the front of the pack will be really spread apart now, as the Ferraris will try to not get in each other's ways. Preston is very distant from Matmar. Matmar also, big gap between him and Jordy, and Rythms also. The gap is a lot smaller than in the first stint though, and the hard tires are certainly much worse than the mediums. So we're gonna be seeing Jordy try to close up as fast as possible, but if he can't do it, then Rythms is just gonna cruise into the end if something unexpected happens. That's basically the front of the grid for you.
Yeah, you can never bet on a safety car not happening, especially with Arnie, where he's been struggling out there a lot of spins, and one of them could end in tears. As he's having a look, he's gonna send it down the inside of Lewis here. Back marker, he almost takes Lewis out, which is unprecedented. It was. He sent it down the inside of Lewis from very far back and almost clipped his rear. Lewis doing a very good job to keep aware of him there and avoid a collision happening. But it's interesting to see Arnie trying to re-overtake P4 here, even though he's in P15.
Yeah, almost halfway through the race, and the round of pit stop really screwed up the big train we've had going on. Trigger is finally getting out of the way to let everyone past. Let's have a look at the tires for a bit, because yeah, Lewis was starting on the hards, so was Cremo, so was Benby, and yeah, that's the only people who haven't done a stop yet. But the Williamses, both of them actually going on the hards till the end, so they're not looking to get some overtakes done. So it's gonna be Jordy, Matmar, and Mudu under a lot of pressure at the front to make up some time, to make up some places, because if you don't, the hard tires are gonna win out in the end. So maybe Williams 1-2 brewing after all, even though Preston was struggling a bit.
Pit window has opened for those on the medium tyre from the start of the race, so that would be the likes of Ben B here, who I think want to be pitting here. He's done 11 laps on the medium, so I think he had damage at the start and boxed up to the mediums. Not sure what he's going to be trying to go for, but it's a lot of mismatched strategies out there. A lot of two stops, one stops. So it's good to see a difference in strategy, which is what the safety car kind of ruins, because then it puts everyone on the same strategy and makes it difficult. As we've had a Turbo Games, who was that going? CJ going slowly.
Yeah, looks like. Well, important thing to mention here, Rythms' gap to Jordy is really shortening. as time goes on. It's only 1.5 seconds now, but considering the tire advantage that Jordi has, the gap should be diminishing much quicker if you actually want to win out in the end with the two-stop. So we're probably gonna see an overtake here, but in the end it's not gonna probably matter as much.
It might be difficult for Jordi here. He's got about half as much ERS that Rythims has, and Rythims is preserving it well. He's not really using it. The overtake might be good, but it might be hampering Jordi for the last portion of the race where he hasn't got enough.
But look at that, Lewis is
take.
gonna go into the inside of Preston into turn 1, so how did this happen? Lewis is doing a very good job for his teammate Matmar there and slowing everyone behind him down. Finally some teamwork inside of the Ferrari garage, but it looks like Preston is gonna be making the move yet again into the inside of turn 3 this time. And it looks like he's gonna win out in the end, but he definitely did get slowed down by Lewis, especially consider the fact that Lewis has how much, 11 or 10 laps older heart than Preston, and he was still able to attack him. So I think he deserves a pat on the back for that from Matt Moore.
Definitely. I mean, he's been doing a very good job. He gets a bit of oversteer out of that corner, but he's been doing a very good job on that set of hard tyre. I mean, taking on Preston with tyre with a lot more wear is very good. You've got Alonso going around his outside here, getting the move.
Oh, into the Spinella corner. That's a very dangerous spot to overtake him, but yeah. I guess he just has to do it at some point. The tire advantage is certainly there for Alonso. He just needed to get it done as soon as possible. Not sure if it was worth the risk, though.
Arno, I think, he's trying to get past him, trying to unlap himself.
Yeah, that's not a good idea if you're in a situation like this. You're just gonna get blue flagged anyway.
Yeah, I mean, the move he tried to make down the inside to unlap himself was questionable at best, but he does... If he thinks he's got the pace advantage, then sure, he should try and lap himself, but at the expense of someone else's race, when you're not even racing each other, it's quite questionable, but so far, no contact has been made, so that's alright.
Yeah, finally the gap between Jordi and Rythims will get to a DRS window, but it's diminishing very slowly. I mean, Matmar is losing a lot of time to Jordi, so maybe Jordi won't get overtaken by Matmar, but I think there's gonna be some lost positions there. Jordi was 1.5 seconds behind Rythims 3 laps ago, and that kind of gap is just unacceptable if you're wanting to make the two-stop work, if you're not counting on a safety car.
Yeah, well, he's done a better job this time around with preserving his ERS. He doesn't have a lot left to play with, but he's inching closer to that DRS range. Not quite there yet, but I think by the time he gets to the back straight, he should be fine. His turbo has entered the pits to get off of that soft tyre he's had on for 6 laps, and I reckon he'd be going on to the hards to try and go to the end, but he's a lap down and doesn't really have anyone to race for with here, so he's on to the mediums, interestingly.
Yeah, the Williamses, after not having the ideal start, still seem to be controlling the entire grid at the moment, as Rythims is doing a really good job on those hards, and Preston is holding up the train behind him on also hards, and the rest of the grid is very much, very big part of the grid is still looking to go into the pits yet again.
I think we might be looking at Preston maybe losing another position here, as he's got Alonso right on his tail, keeping up for him very close, very similar.
Yeah, they're on the same strategy, so maybe finally a battle for a position. We're gonna see.
Position here.
Yeah, probably not gonna get it done on this straight, but this straight is just used to get closer to someone and then pray that you won't spin out at what's that, turn 13?
Modu and Lewis going side by side through the Spinala corner. Modu coming out on top, and Jordi is close enough for DRS.
13 laps to go. Jordi finally getting the DRS on the start-finish straight, so some gap closing opportunity for him. He's not using any ERS, so the gap closer will only use like 2/10, and not much happening there. But Alonso is gonna go for the move, and he's closing up really well. He's not gonna go for the move just yet. He wasn't even using overtake, probably saving up for this straight. And Preston is going to hold on for dear life, because Alonso had really good pace in the qualifying as well, until he spun out. Oh, no, he actually... Oh, he didn't spin out, actually. Wait. Yeah, he started P5, so not a bad race for him. And still battling for P4. Maybe gonna inherit P3 in the end, as Matt, Mar, and Jordi are gonna both suffer from those strategies. And we really need to appreciate from this Tier 1 grid that not much penalties.
No, not at all. It's only a couple in the back, the couple of back markers who've been struggling with keeping their car on the on circuit, having a couple spins. There's not been many penalties at all. I don't even think there's been many warnings.
Finally, some quality showing in this race. Something really clean. I mean, Bahrain isn't a very cut the corner type of track, but you can still get some cheesy penalties in the twisty section at the beginning of Sector 2, maybe turn 14 at the end of Sector 2. You know, you can still get some penalties. It's not that hard to cut the corner and give yourself a little bit of an advantage. And while I was talking about shit, Rhythms gets overtaken by Jordi finally. So that was a move that we missed, and look at that, he's defending almost outside of the track, although he doesn't have any ERS whatsoever. So Rhythm's probably even gonna lose the DRS window to him. But yeah, the lead goes to Jordi.
A sweet move down the inside, managed to get it before the corner even came. Very close to him coming out the final corner. Is that... It's Lewis in the pit lane.
Yellow flag for some reason. Oh yeah, we also missed a move. Alonso made on Preston, so he's finally in P4, but I don't think Preston is giving up that easily. Behind them we also have Mudo still struggling to get off the back marker of Trigger and CJ, and behind them Crimo will try to chase down that train. It's Manu also, but he's on the hards. Crimo is on hards as well, it looks like. Yeah, he hasn't even stopped yet, so after the stop I don't know where he will end up. And then further back we also have a Lewis, finally on the right compound of tire till the end, but very far from the rest of the pack.
Should be able to pick up a few positions, I think, when those on the mediums come in for a stop. Everyone on the hards, maybe not Cremo though, he's done 17 laps on that hard tire. I think he'll be looking at switching to the softs to go to the end soon. Interesting display of strategies here. A lot of different tire compounds being used, and there's Cremo. Yeah, there we go, he's boxed. I wonder what tire he'll be going onto here. I want to be trying to score as many points as possible coming from last place, and I think that should be achievable as he's gone on to the mediums.
Yeah, Crimo in the pits finally, and he's only gonna lose like 2 positions to Manu and Lewis. It looks like he's gonna get in front of the second McLaren of Benby. So yeah, that's how much the grid is spread out at the moment. Jordi isn't really extending the gap to Rhythms though. Rhythms still is managing to hold on for dear life in the DRS window, although both of them are really extending the gap to Matmar, who is losing up to 9 seconds now. But the pit stop is gonna set the both of them back. We only have 10 laps to go, so the pit stop will come eventually.
I think Rhythm's tyres have come into their sort of optimal operating range, and Jordi's are beginning to fall off a cliff a bit because he's been closing in these last few laps, and this could really make Jordi suffer when it comes to having to battle with Matmar in the pits, although he is 9.4 seconds ahead as they've got a battle of back marker here. Oh my god, Matmar's got a 5-second time penalty now. He's sped into the pit lane.
Oh,
he's coming to the pits and he's got himself a penalty.
So
really unfortunate.
I think I cursed them a little bit when I praised the Ferrari teamwork and strategy at the beginning of the race. Yeah. I've been
As
accused of
predicted, he's
that in
gone
the
to
second
stop
league I'm
there.
commentating on, so no worries. I'm bringing out the curse yet again. So we have 9 laps left. Out of the 2 stoppers, Matmar was the first to come in. Anu has a 5-second time penalty for ignoring the blue flags. Kind of expected from all the intervening the back markers did in this race. Thanks to the 5 seconds, Matmar is very much in the possibility of actually finishing behind his teammate. Although, thanks to the sauce, it's not gonna happen, probably.
It shouldn't happen. He should have the pace on that soft tyre to climb up the grid, but I think Manu might be able to defend or at least pick up a position here with his 5 seconds. We've got 10 laps left to go, and everyone on the hard tyre should be going to the end. I think, yeah, everyone should be going to the end on the hards, as Matt goes for a move here on Manu, and it should be a pretty simple move, and he's got it done. That's a spin for Modu. On the curb, it's caught another person out.
Alright, finally we see Jordi in the pit lane going onto the soft, so it's going to be very important where he ends up after the pit stop. He's going to lose the position to Alonso and Preston, that's for sure. Will he lose a position to Mudu? Doesn't look like it. But yeah, P4 for Jordi in the end. Let's see what the pace will be like for him. Okay, never mind. Alonso in a battle with Preston there. They went side by side throughout turn 1, 2, and 3 almost, but Preston gets back into P2 in the end. So after Jordi pit, he got into P4. That promoted Alonso and Preston further up the grid.
Should be very interesting to see here how this race turns out, because you've got Jordi on the much faster tyre. He's only around 6 seconds behind, although he does have back markers to deal with here. There's racing very hard, not really paying much attention to who's behind, as, okay, the Haas lets him through, but will the Alfa Romeo? Yes, okay. He's managed to dispatch of the back markers, and he should be able to hunt down Alonso and Preston here to maybe get a podium position as the Haas goes very a big excursion off track there.
Yeah, so the front three all on the hards tried the one stop, and it seems to be working, but Matmar probably out of the contention to go after those three, but Jordi's still well in the possibility of getting back. So maybe his pace on the mediums wasn't as bad as we thought after all. He still has a lot of time to climb back up. Manu probably gonna finish the race on those hards. Lewis the same. Mudu on those softs, but I don't think he's gonna be catching Lewis that much. I think
we could be looking at a very tasteful battle coming up in these next few laps. Jordi with the purple Scepter 2 and 3, he's managed to close about 2.5 seconds almost.
Oh yeah, his pace on the softs is much better than last time when he had the first set of tires. So he's really gonna be threatening those two.
With Alonso and Preston battling it out as well, it's really going to play into his hand, as he's now down to 3 seconds. It was about 6 when he came out the pits last lap. And the more they battle, the closer Jordi's going to get, and with the softer tyre here, I don't think there's going to be any stopping him from getting past these two.
Yeah, if something dirty or unexpected doesn't happen, it looks like Jordi could still get into P2. Rysens is going to win this race without a question. He's going to be a very boring person to talk about in the interview room. Almost a pit stop worth of a lead. With 7 laps to go, maybe it can even become much larger.
I reckon Jordi will get the fastest lap of the race on this lap, as he's now very, very close to the back of these two and caught up a lot faster than I thought he would. The pace on this soft tyre is remarkable.
Yeah, Scuderia Alonso really needs to throw Preston in between them, and it looks like he's gonna do that into the outside. Maybe gets the move down even before the braking zone. Looks like he's gonna do just that. Yeah, move done without a question. Maybe Preston can come back at him, but this is just gonna be a game of who's gonna get overtaken by Jordi first. Who's gonna be the obstacle?
I think Jordi will be grinning, seeing this battle ahead of him. It's really playing into his hands. He's within a DRS range now, so I reckon pretty soon we could be looking at a change of positions here.
Yeah, I think we haven't talked about as well though, those fresh soft tire runners definitely in contention for getting the fastest lap. Jordi was setting some purple laps, but it looks like Mudu is the one who's gonna pick it up now, so the one free point isn't gonna go into Jordi's hands just yet, but maybe he's gonna go for the move finally into turn 10. Or that's 11, sorry.
To let him know he's there. He has a little look to let him know he's there,
but he's almost
not
dragging him through there. He's gonna try to attempt almost side by side going into the Spinala section back south, understandably.
He should. He might even get him down towards this corner. He's preserving his ERS.
Yeah, good choice. Yeah, but I don't think he should be in a big rush. He still has 5 laps to go and only 2 overtakes that are right in front of him. Preston also has DRS on Alonso, but it's not gonna matter. Look at that. It's gonna go into the inside, into turn 1, getting the move done almost before the braking zone, but Preston trying to battle it out still, but it's not gonna work. And I don't think he can slingshot back at the second DRS zone because Jordi is gonna move on immediately into the outside of Scuderia Alonso. Preston really trying to get involved but doesn't have the pace, and around the outside with so much traction, Jordi just gets both of these moves done inside of 10 or 15 seconds, so a very good job from him.
Brilliant strategy from Jordi here. He's done really well to maintain that medium tyre and then get onto the much quicker tyre. And I mean, the difference in tyre speed and the difference in tyre wear is Alonso and Preston have done 13 laps on that hard tyre now, has really played into his hands, and he's done a stellar job to get ahead of them with a lot more time to
yeah, I almost feel bad for doubting him at the second stint that he's done in the middle of the race, but the person that is going to be really not satisfied with how things are going is going to be Matt Marr. Still in P5, the gap, even though he's on sauce, really isn't really diminishing as he wanted it to, and also the 5-second time penalty is not playing into his hands, so he's probably gonna just stay in P5, Lewis in P7. Still not a bad showing though. They're still gonna get some good points into the constructors, but Williams will definitely start from the get-go in the lead of the constructors championship, so yeah, people are gonna really need to work on their qualifying pace, because at the beginning of the season we're gonna have races like Hungary or Spain, which are really important from the start, from qualifying, as the overtaking quality isn't really big.
Preston and Alonso go side by side here. Preston gets the move done. Or does he? Alonso comes back to try to go around the outside, turn to the inside for the next corner. And that should be the move done unless Preston get a switchback done here. He's going to have the outside line, but he'll have to back out here, and he does. So he'll take the DRS for the next corner. Ooh, was that a bit of contact? I think that was a bit of contact there.
Looks like it.
Between the two. Because that sent Alonso's rear out quite far as he gives the place back. Very good there. There must have been some contact between the two.
Yeah, there was. I was just looking at it from the stream. There was some contact. It wasn't definitely intentional, and it definitely was not intending to do any harm though. It was just Preston overshot the corner a little bit because he wanted to get the fight going. So I don't know, he didn't really fight for the position back anyway, so not really much to talk about there. Although Matt Marr's gap is finally diminishing a little bit, but it's not gonna be enough. We have 3 laps ahead of us and 6 seconds on already kind of old softs. I don't really see it happening. So the only battle we're gonna be looking at is going to be Alonso and Preston, and they're still in very close battles. And it looks like, yeah, Preston finally without the DRS, so that's gonna play into the hands of Alonso, but not making the move just yet. Still gonna bide his time. It's kind of like, how well do you want to time your move? Because your opponent will have DRS on you in the next lap. So maybe he's going to try to delay it as much as possible, so he's not gonna be under pressure, defenseless in the last laps of the race. Jordi's gap to right him is getting smaller, but it's not something that we should be concerned about, as tire advantage is there, but the time is just not on his side. Same goes for Matmar. And it's Manu though, is going to be in a battle with Lewis. Finally something happening in the bottom part of the race, but that was a yellow flag. It looks like Jordy went off track there. Yeah, but no damage, and yeah, he only lost like 2 seconds, so it's not gonna be a really big concern. But Lewis finally in a battle with it's Manu, and he overtook him actually into turn 11, and he gets the move done going into turn 14. It's gonna be in front of him, but yeah, the DRS zones are still gonna come eventually, so the battle will continue there. But the battle between Preston and Alonso will continue as well. Didn't happen on this straight as well, so maybe he's doing exactly what I was talking about.
Alonso's come off a bit worse there. He's lost a lot of time.
Oh yeah,
I think the only way Matt can come back into this is if these two have an accident, which allows Matt to get past, even with that 5 seconds. I think that's the only way Matt will be able to get a podium here, but with the etiquette and the level that these two have, I don't think that will happen at all. I reckon it's been very clean.
Let's just stay professional and not wish any harm on these drivers.
Of course not.
Yeah, but Alonso lost, even though he has DRS, he lost a lot of time in the start-finish straight, and he had almost 9/10 of a gap to Preston after being on such long DRS zone, so maybe the tire wear is getting to him a little bit more than to Preston. They both went to the pits at the same time though, so what's the deal there? I have absolutely no idea, but it looks like Lewis is very well defending from its Manu though. He is on mediums though, so that's probably why, but Manu wasn't really able to capitalize on the DRS advantage he had since being overtaken.
Yeah, Lewis there with that 8 lap old mediums, while Manu has 15 lap old hards, so a difference in tyre compound and tyre wear is evident there. And Alonso's not really been close enough to try and challenge Preston and go for an overtake, because we're on...
Yeah, maybe he's still timing it, but I don't imagine how that's gonna work, because he's not saving a lot of ERS though. They have about the same level of ERS, and it's only 2 laps to go, maybe actually like 1.5. And yeah, even though it's like half a second, he hasn't been able to go for the moves as he locks up into this corner. That doesn't look very promising for him. I don't know what to think. He really needs to get a good exit off of the last corner on this lap, otherwise I don't see his chances being that big.
No, he's quite close, but he just didn't draw Preston in a lot there. He's managed to close a couple tenths now.
Oh, look at that, he was off track a little bit, but I don't think that's gonna help Alonso as much.
Okay, so he's getting quite close now. I think he might be setting up the start-finish straight and hoping to defend as much as he can through the final.
Yeah, Rhythms and Jordy gonna finish P1 and 2, no questions asked if they don't get an accident, but P3 is still the one that we're gonna be debating on. So let's have a look at that battle. The only big chance that Alonso has to close off the podium. This is 4P3, and against the Williams dominance, gonna go into the outside of turn 1, and a very good defensive position from Preston. Maybe Alonso going for the slingshot, but it doesn't look like it's gonna be happening, so the second DRS straight is his last hope. He's gonna go into the outside it again, so Preston's very well defending, locks up. There's some good traction though off a turn 3, and he gets the move done. Oh my, so Alonso really knew what he was doing by forcing Preston that much into the inside. And even though he's locks up and he's under a lot of pressure, he got the move done. He just needs to hold on for his dear life throughout half a lap, and he's gonna get the podium, and he's gonna rob Preston of another dominant Williams team showing.
Preston's got a lot more fuel to play with, but not a lot of ERS at all.
Yeah, so the score is very much draw. Yeah, nobody really has a big advantage going into last 3 corners. And the advantage that Alonso has, it's already 8 or 9/10. So yeah, Rhythms wins. Yeah, not much to talk about there. Very convincing drive, consistent. Jordy, same thing, very good strategy, very good battling. Got
And it's
those
going to be
two
Alonso.
inside. Yeah, without question. So Preston is defeated on the last lap and is robbed of a podium. Fortunately, I don't have the contacts of Jordy or Alonso to invite them into the interview room, so I hope we are able to find them ASAP.
Let me see. Yeah, it was brilliant racing. It was a great race there. A lot of very clean overtakes and not a lot of penalties either. There were a few spins during that race, but that's all there is really to talk about. A lot of carbon fiber into turn one, but that's to be expected.
Yeah, if you can, I would really love to get those two into the interview room because I don't have them.
I will get them here. I don't have them either, but I can get their PSNs here.
Okay.
Right, so that's P2 added. There he is. Our P2 man.
Yeah, it was a good one.
It was brilliant to watch.
Yeah, it was nice to be in the soft at the end.
Yeah, you managed to get a very, very, very good good stint on that soft tire, and
Party. Alright.
okay, so they should all be added now. Yes, yeah, they haven't. So hopefully they'll join. Here's P1. And now we're just waiting on P3 to join here.
Alright. So we have Alonso, we have Jordy, and who do we have in the lobby?
We have we've got P1 and P2. We're just waiting on P3 to join. But we have get the interviews underway with P1 and P2 now. While we wait for Alonso to come.
Is he responding though? That's the question.
I think they both are, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, both here.
Alright, I don't think Alonso will be joining us.
Free slot.
Yeah, well, let's do it with two people then. So, yeah, congratulations to the both of you. Especially on the win, very consistent driving. How was the race going from P1, well, from P2, but, you know, going for 29 laps without real battling and just watching the carnage behind you?
Yeah, Preston forgot his setup, so it's also already kind of a rifle turned down, and then Matt got damaged. I think lap 3, so was just cruising.
Yeah, did you have any troubles with being consistent, or you just had your own mindset and just went on with it?
Yeah, it's only the tire at the end was really bad. That's the risk you take when you're doing one stop around Bahrain.
Yeah, and also, Jordy, what made you decide that the two stop was the way and not the one stop?
Well, I knew the mediums were were pretty good around Bahrain. So I thought, yeah, why not do the two-stop and yeah, do with a soft at the end. The comeback race.
Yeah, were you scared it won't work?
No, because I, yeah, just had the pace to be quicker than them, and yeah, just from there I just cruised to the end.
Yeah. Also, can you explain how much fear did you feel during those two dangerous overtakes on Preston and Alonso?
Yeah, it was bit risky in the first corner, but yeah, then I saw the Mercedes had a moment, so I immediately just got him as well. So yeah.
Also, what happened in the incident at the end of Sector 2? We saw a
Yeah, I
yellow
was
flag. You
trying.
went off track there. What happened?
Yeah, I wanted to go for the fastest lap. But yeah, I pushed a bit too hard, and I had a moment. So yeah, it was a bit tricky.
A question for both of you since it's the beginning of the season. Where are you aiming on finishing championship wise?
P3 minimum.
I don't know. I'm reserve.
Well,
um,
a reserve that finished on the podium, so definitely some headache for the McLaren team principal or whoever decides these lineups.
yeah, yeah. If I get a seat, then I'm also aiming for top three.
And as far as constructors go, Rythins, are you impressed and going for the win as usual?
Yeah, I hope so.
Right. Well, if Ducky doesn't have anything to add, I think we
No,
can.
I don't think I think you said everything that needs to be said.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us in the interview room, and yeah, we're gonna end the stream there. So we're gonna see you next time, next week in Britain.